Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wrecking Wire, Episode 4, as we dig deeper into the ABC agencies. Let's get into the show.
Every line leads somewhere. Every knot ties a secret to a sin. And tonight, the wire hums with what folks don't want to hear. Follow it long enough, you reach the reckoning.
They don't want it seen. Funny thing about the truth, you can pin it to a board, draw lines around it, try to keep it still. But once it starts to burn, it doesn't stay put. It floats, it consumes. And if you're lucky, it shows you where the blood's really coming from. That's when the map starts to matter.
Dead drop received. Contents verified. You're cleared to view.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Episode 4 of Wrecking Wire. Today, we will continue where we were at yesterday, digging into the ABC's agencies, NGOs, and companies they work for. Probably get into some deltas, because I'm sure we hit some deltas today. And if you haven't heard, POTUS pardoned Tina Peters. Yay! She's finally gonna be free. Great. We knew it was coming. He said that more was coming for the election, right? And now we got Tina Peters released. Woo! This is gonna get good. 47 lights. This is gonna get good. But he finally did it, right? She was the one that needed to be released. I mean, she did her job. And they tried to lock her up for 19 years or something like that? Crazy ass judge. But we get into the deltas of today. And of course, one of our favorite, we have a special place picked out for Mr. George Soros. I think POTUS had 2 or 3 meetings today? He was on fire. Yeah, 2020 is not over yet. He said it's going to come out even more. So it's going to be very interesting. And the Democrats today trying to ask, who is Antifa? That stupid Democrat, man. Oh, man, these Democrats are crazy. They've lost their mind. But, we can't afford anything, but they can pass, what was it? 800 million or billion or something to Ukraine they just passed. Yeah. Pieces of crap. Bunch of traitors. Trump's gonna be pissed. Trump's gonna be mad. He trying to end a war and they're giving him more money. My goodness. Let me see. I was looking for one that I just reposted. That freaking nut job. Let's watch Carl because Carl is good. And he just goes off. So let's go.
Everyone's like, oh, this is the most important election. No, the most important election of our lifetimes from here on out is the next one. Okay, and then the one after that, and then the one after that. And if Republicans don't make these things into law and get this through their head, they're going to lose. And Republicans are going to sit there in the minority scratching their head. I don't understand why we didn't have turnout. The better question is, Mike Johnson, why would we show up to vote? You haven't thrown a single person in jail. There's no accountability for COVID, and New York Dems ran the guy who literally stuffed elderly patients into retirement homes with COVID and killed people. They blocked meds that would have saved lives. They shut down schools. They forced people to get a vaccine against their will, who then got heart conditions and nothing happened. And they lied about it, coming from some dude that it was in he ate a bat in a wet market while Fauci and his cabal were killing beagles and funding the Wuhan coronavirus lab and expected us to believe that it didn't come from a lab in Wuhan named coronavirus. No one in jail for Russiagate, for censorship. Not one of the 51 former Intel officials who told us that Hunter Biden's laptop was a Russian plant. It actually does turn out that Hunter Biden was, in fact, smoking crack in bathtubs with hookers. You failed to indict Letitia James for like the third time today because you did it wrong the first time. Still haven't charged Adam Schiff for the same mortgage fraud. Looks like James Comey is probably going to get off scot-free. And the best the Republicans can do is, here's $800 million more for Ukraine. Why the hell would Republicans be excited to vote if Trump's not on the ballot? You want to keep your majority? Throw 100 people in jail for political corruption and all the corruption that Doge uncovered. None of those people are in jail. That's like low-hanging fruit, including everybody involved with the auto pen primary, all the 21 state senators in Indiana who just voted with Democrats to oppose congressional redistricting for their own party. They essentially just gave up 2 seats. Abolish the filibuster and just start getting stuff done. Give us nationwide reciprocity. Abolish the income tax. But while you're at it, let's deep six the IRS, and then you can sell the building or drone strike it or do whatever you want so nobody can come back to it. And then you can tell the Muslims seeking refugee status to do it in the 56 surrounding Muslim countries that they have rather than here so we don't have to pay their benefits. You do that, you'll gain seats in the House. We'll have 300-seat majority. People like me will be excited to go out and vote because we're not right now. Because if you do that stuff, man, Mike, I'm telling you, I will legit run through a wall like the Kool-Aid dude to get to the polls. But if you don't, you'll lose.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for
Carl,
what's right.
He says it like it is, right? He says it like it is. Oh, we know the Republicans are a bunch of rhinos, right? Like, we didn't vote for the Republicans. We voted for Trump. Hey, BB. Welcome. But, right, we didn't, like, we already know both sides are crooked as hell. Just like I said last night, they're all treason. Lock them all up. Right? Like, I don't care. Oh, man. And then, let's see. This one just broke, right? President Trump officially pardons Tina Peters. Finally. And he said the elections were going to come out. And then look what we got here. The executive director of Black Lives Matter in Oklahoma City charged in a federal court with wire fraud and money laundering. Here we go. Yeah, Tina, like, man. Thank you so much, right? Thank you so much, Trump, for releasing her, because whew, we needed a win, right? We needed Trump. No, I think Trump knew we needed something, right? Let me see if I can find the one from Laura, because she posted a, hey, you want to see a Q plus? A QQ? You want to see Q plus? Do a Q with a double point? Watch the end. Circle, double point. Did a big one in the back from Noah, didn't you? See it one more time. Yep, air Q with the double point. Oh man. Did I really not repost her post? Seriously? Ah, ain't that something? All right. Yeah, that interview she did with this guy was, oh, it was a 3-hour interview. No wonder why she keeps cutting up clips of it. Hold on. Sorry, guys. The boomerang is this one.
Boomerang.
Let's listen to this one.
Just like the boomerang from Australia.
Yeah.
When you throw the boomerang, it comes back to the
Right.
person who threw it. There is no doubt that all of these people who volunteered to perform public service on behalf of this president will become targets.
How?
I think that as we go through, and if the guard changes in the House or the Senate,
Yeah, Colorado can screw off. They can't override a pardon, a presidential pardon. But you know they try to do something. That's literally a political prisoner, right? Like, let Tina go. Let's listen to this one. Oh man, it's 8 minutes. This is good though. Listen to what they got planned if they don't arrest all these bastards.
they will be brought up on the very charges that the weaponization working group is supposed to be doing. They will not be given a pass.
So you need to explain that. What exactly do you mean?
The very work that the weaponization working group is supposed to be doing, they're supposed to be ferreting out corruption. You know, sort of like what we gave to the court.
Right.
They will use that. Except this time it will not be for this particular political class. It will be for their political class.
So if I understand what you're saying is, it won't be the people who carried out the fraud, the waste, the abuse, and the corruption, the seditious conspirators who have tried to overthrow the government, who have weaponized
Yes.
the Department of Justice, who weaponized the FBI, who
Yes.
weaponized the intel agencies. It won't be them. They won't be going down for their crimes.
No.
It will be all of the people from the president down
Yes.
who are currently in positions of power and authority, who are in office.
Who are abrogating their responsibility to stand tall and do the people's work.
which is to hold these people accountable.
So the price that they will pay will be, they'll be held accountable for the crimes they were supposed to fix.
And didn't.
Yes, that's called a boomerang.
So that's a setup.
Yes.
It's also called a setup.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so this may be counterintuitive for some people.
I don't know if you guys remember, but this is literally what the Democrats are saying, that they're going to take back the midterms, impeach Trump, right? All because of this bullcrap.
people. And so I just want to be certain that people really grasp what we're talking about. So
Peace,
instead of
Batman.
the people who've actually committed crimes being held accountable for those crimes, the people who are now in office,
In
who have-
power.
who have taken an oath, and this is the key, right? Because
Yes.
that oath legally binds them
Yes.
to stop the weaponization of government, to address the grievances of the American public,
And the whistleblowers that have been abused and
and
all
the January 6th defendants
yes,
who've been victims of weaponization, and all the
them.
other people. So their failure to actually do that is going to be used against them.
Yes, but more important than that, it will break the heart of what got this particular president in office. It's going to break the heart of every single person who thought that this president was going to fix the problem.
And didn't. And not only that, but he will be impeached for not fixing the problem
And his staff, all the president's men,
all the way through the government. Anyone
Yes.
they want to get rid of. Not their people.
they will be punished, yes.
And punished how?
I would assume they will be legally charged and they will face legal charges, probably by the DOJ, Public Integrity Section, Criminal Division, civil rights violations, everything. Yes.
You know, it's interesting because I did speak to somebody who works inside the government, and one of the things that they're looking at in the intelligence world, this group is looking at reports that the law firm Perkins Coie, which is, you know, very famous for Mark Elias, they were heavily involved in Russia collusion. In fact, they even had an FBI agent had an office inside Perkins Coie, right? Or was it the other way around? I can't remember. But Perkins Coie and the FBI were working together, and they were very much part of this fake Russia collusion narrative that was a seditious conspiracy. These people are preparing legislation to make administrative functions in the government. Failure to perform those administrative functions can expose the administrators to the death penalty. Is that even conceivable to you?
Yes.
Why?
Because if you take an oath of office and you are going to support and defend the Constitution and you failed to do your duty, in some countries that's considered repressive behavior.
Because you're allowing that fraud, waste, and
Yes.
abuse to continue.
So that's what a boomerang is. So
You're-
basically, we gave you. In other words, this is like a chalice. You've been given the golden chalice.
But it's poisoned.
Yes, yes. So you have a choice. You either put the chalice down,
Yeah.
or you have to ultimately drink from it. Wow. And we're watching you.
It's just insane. You know, just part of me says that this is pure insanity, that these people who are, in theory, right, caught. Because
Oh, they
there-
are.
There
They
is
are
a
caught.
plethora of evidence, stretching literally from here to Timbuktu and back 15 times, that shows that they are guilty. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, stood next to Carolyn Levitt, the press secretary at the White House, the president's press secretary, and said, here's the evidence of a seditious conspiracy.
Yes.
Conspiracy that was run by people like John Brennan,
Yes.
Barack Obama, Biden was involved, Comey was involved, Clapper was involved, you know, directors of the CIA, directors of national intelligence, directors of the FBI, that all of these people were involved. We've done an investigation, and here's the evidence. Here are the transcripts. Here are the records. You've got the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, is out there saying, we found all these burn bags of all this evidence that they tried to conceal. So there's evidence of a cover up. You have the, all of these people. These investigations have been done. You've had James Comer and Oversight say that they've made referrals. You yourself know, because you've handed over
Yes.
hundreds of documents and pages of evidence
Ready for prosecution.
of corruption within the government. So we know the evidence exists.
Yes.
We watched the crimes. We literally witnessed the United States, the people of this country, we the people are witnesses to these crimes.
Yes.
We watched John Brennan go on television say that President Trump was a Russian spy, that Putin was his handler. We watched them say things under oath that they contradicted in private testimony. So we know they lied before Congress. The evidence is there. We witnessed these crimes taking place. And now the people responsible for these crimes who appear to be caught, you have an administration in place who was not guilty of those crimes, who've enacted legislation, who have taken an oath of office, who said we're going to prosecute these crimes. Therefore, reasons that escape most of the people who voted for them have not done so. And this is going to be the poison chalice from which they have all drunk.
Yes.
That is going to put them down
Yes.
once and for all.
And they're going to ultimately, and it breaks my heart to say this, they're ultimately going to discover the difference between public service and arduous public service. Arduous public service is when you have to stand tall and you have to do what is in the best interest of the nation, not yourself, not a party, not a group, not a company, but you have to stand tall. You have to get in the arena.
Arrest them all. What the hell are you waiting for? You know that they will. Like, there ain't no doubt in any of our minds. One, because multiple of the Dems have already said that if they take it back, they're arresting everybody. Right? They're arresting everybody. So what he's saying is point on, because they've said it. Straight up. And that means he'll come after all Trump followers, his cabinet, everybody again. But it just reminds me of the Delta for today, right? Because she was talking about could they receive the death penalty. And I know. Had it. Here we go.
With the enemy have considered enemy combatants. American citizens who collaborate with the enemy have considered enemy combatants.
They can be.
They
can be. They're sometimes criminally prosecuted, sometimes treated in the military.
Well, let's talk about can be. I think
under Supreme Court precedent.
Right. There's a Supreme Court decision that said that American citizens who collaborated with Nazi saboteurs were tried by the military. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think a couple of them were executed.
Yeah.
So if anybody doubts, there's a long-standing history in this country that your constitutional rights follow you wherever you go, but you don't have a constitutional right to turn on your own government and collaborate with the enemy of the nation. You'll be treated differently. Okay. So the bottom line is, I want every American citizen to know you have constitutional rights, but you do not have a constitutional right to collaborate with the enemy. There's a body of law well developed long before 9/11 that understood the difference between basic criminal law and the law of armed conflict.
And that's what that reminded me of when she started talking about that, right? And that is today's Delta. Here, you want to see a good one I made for Scabby?
See if you can read this. Great work, Rob. Great work. See if you can read this. You're fired. And in case your ears are fucked, get the fuck out!
Oh, I had to. Me at work trying to figure out what to work on next because apparently everything is urgent. Oh, man. I wonder what else. Did POTUS post anything else? I don't even have that open. Let's see. Let's see. What's boss doing? Anything? Good thing. The hell is this damn thing doing? There we go. You know, I seen one where he was talking about, yep, inherit a mess, disaster. Oh, I think it was this one, the blue slips. Over, great Republicans, sent packing. And then today they passed that stupid Ukrainian bill, right? As Trump's trying to end this damn war, they want to give him money. Like right as he's trying to end it before Christmas. These guys are a bunch of jackasses, right? Like, what is wrong with them? What is wrong? Any excess electricity we produce is going to our grid, which is to be strengthened and expanded and for other purposes than AI. Be interesting how this one works out with them producing their own energy. I mean, they have to, considering what they run on. Today, I'm granting Tina a full pardon for her attempts to expose voter fraud in the rigged 2020 presidential election. And you know, she still has it all. You know, her lawyers do. So we're about to have a lot more come out. Right? You can't tell them, you must show them. I mean, gas prices still suck here, but I guess they're down a little bit to like $4.29 or something like that. Good old California. But yep, light will overcome darkness, right? The light will expose the darkness. The light will reveal the darkness, and the light will defeat the darkness. Telling us about the wives. Risk of another shutdown. Be prepared. That could come up because not bad. 260 in Georgia. We'll see about shutdown though, because they're going to try to shut it down again, right? Here in January. That little stunt was just that. You got the wall, which is funny when we look back at this now, right? Like, that wall is completely built by the military. People do not yet realize how much of the wall, including really effective renovation, has already been built. If the Democrats do not give us the votes to secure our country, then the military will build the remaining sections of the wall. They know how important it is. And let's see. I like this one. It says, wow, what a show. And I think Trump had wasn't his rally on Tuesday? I'm pretty sure. Number 5, impeachment. Impeachment requires 2/3 of the vote. And I don't know if you've seen today, the Democrats were just going crazy with trying to impeach Kristi Noem. And you know she don't back down. She said they should all be fired. If they want to change something, then change the damn law. Quit your bitching and moaning. Oh, man. And then here's the one talking about China. Will China be announcing a state-funded and state-made new search engine in the coming months? And, you know, they track everybody and everything, so it's cool to go back though and look what he was posting as well, right? 22. Say, look. Just kidding. That was Obama. These are the instigators that have caused the division, even a great divide. Let's see, will it play? Do, 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 do. I guess I could always download it. I just don't know what it is. What I thought. Not found. How is that not found? That's freaking Truth Social. It'll play like 10 minutes later. Eric Trump. Nunes posting someone as a clown. Is that,
You testified in your deposition that you did not know the whistleblower.
Ranking member, it's Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, please.
Lieutenant Colonel Vindman, you testified in the deposition that you did not know who the whistleblower was. Or is.
I do not know who the whistleblower is. That is.
How is it possible for you to name these people and then out the whistleblower?
I've been advised not to answer specific questions about members of the intelligence community.
Gotta love that, right? Meme 'em. Twittergate. Oh, that would be nice to come out. The Twitter files.
I was just absolutely obsessed with truth. Just obsessed with truth.
Time to release all the files and get the truth out. For real. I quote that to Elon every once in a while too, like, hey, Twitter files. Twitter files. Latest from John Ratcliffe. Let's see what he had to say. You don't hear much from him now running the damn farm, do you?
Oh, you know the players better than most. Jim Baker is someone that you followed closely when he was the general counsel at the FBI. Walk us through what Jim Baker has been doing. And is it any coincidence after pushing this Russia collusion lie, he gets the top general counsel job or the deputy counsel job at Twitter after being pushed out of the FBI?
Well, I don't think that's a coincidence at all. So, you know, very quickly to your viewers, Jim Baker is the person who was involved in writing an exoneration memo for Hillary Clinton, having classified information on her server before the FBI ever interviewed her. He's the person who hand-carried information from Hillary Clinton's campaign lawyer, Michael Sussman, into the FBI, false information about a relationship between the Trump campaign and the Alpha Bank, Russian Alpha Bank. It continued on with him trying to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Donald Trump after Donald Trump fired Jim Comey. He was involved in the leak investigation involving Jim Comey that was the subject of the FBI Inspector General. It continues. In each of these cases, Maria, Jim Baker was working and taking actions that worked to the favor of Hillary Clinton or Democrats or to the left, and universally working to the detriment of Republicans, conservatives, and Donald Trump. And that was all before he got to Twitter and got involved with suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story. Now, what's important about this, Maria, is he was at the FBI when the FBI obtained Hunter Biden's laptop. He would have known that the FBI was able to, in short order, because of the emails that were on there, know that this was not Russian disinformation. And so, I don't think that Twitter just happened to find his resume on monster.com. And I think one of the things that needs to be determined is what was his relationship with Twitter before he got to Twitter? And was he sharing information as the FBI general counsel, to the benefit of one political party to the detriment of another, that then continued when he got to Twitter?
Yeah. Well, you took his deposition, right? I mean, you took his deposition while in Congress, and, you say that the DNI was not suppressing information, but the rest of the apparatus in the government was. The FBI, the DOJ meeting with social media to say, oh, this is likely a part of the dump from Russia. So what happens now? How do you undo this abuse of power?
Well, there's no question, Maria. So this was, as I said, this was a domestic disinformation campaign. It involved Democrats like Adam Schiff on the House Intelligence Committee. It involved members of the media. It involved according to FBI whistleblowers, FBI agents, and it, of course, involved Twitter, and all of these working in concert, putting their not just thumb on the scale, but entire hand on the scale to mislead the American people in the weeks and months preceding a presidential election. And, to this point, one of the questions I have is, it was reported that when I was in Congress, Twitter was shadow banning me as a conservative Republican. Did that continue when I became the DNI and was putting out the official statement? As you accurately said, Maria, this whole thing was the suppression of the truth and the amplification of lies to mislead the voting public. And to that point, that's election interference. And, private companies like, I keep hearing that, well, Twitter's a private company, they can do what they want. That's not the case, Maria. Anyone, even private companies, can't engage in conduct which is fraudulent in nature, intended to interfere with the free exercise of voting rights. And private company CEOs can't go to Congress and lie under oath. And very clearly, what Jack Dorsey said in the Twitter files reveal, they were censoring. And he stated unequivocally that they were not. So he needs to be brought in. The last thing, Maria, is Section 230 protection for companies like Twitter. They have civil liability protection because they're supposed to be a platform. They're not supposed to be engaging in editorializing, or suppressing the truth, which is exactly what they've done. Congress needs to address that.
Real quick, before you go, John, on TikTok, 2 years ago, when you were the sitting DNI, you did a national security assessment of TikTok. It is the reason that Donald Trump signed 2 executive orders forcing the sale of TikTok. Tell me what you found when you did that assessment, and why are we having the same conversation that we had 2 years ago after you've already done the work?
And we're still having that conversation. I don't know how much longer later. Hey, Jamie. Minami. ABB, Dick Tracy, 47 Lights. Thank you everyone for joining me on these short little dig shows. These shows will be about, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours long maybe. So yeah, we're just breaking down the news, trying to tie everything back together. Right now we're just kind of digging through old POTUS's tweets just because they're fun to look at, right? But I'd have to say that I don't know if there was any deltas that really hit today. If they did, we'd have to go through and actually look at the timestamps and see if they actually hit delta for delta. Because I haven't really heard too much news. I mean, we had the Black Lives Matter, right? Clean Air Act. Nothing really new there. We found out Obama bought a mansion and transferred all of his wealth to the UK. Obama's on the run. Nope, nothing new. That was the same as yesterday when we left off. But these are always good to look at, right? Like, these are the straight Department of Justice and actually seeing what they're doing. Because a lot of this stuff doesn't really get reported. At least not on, like, the mainstream news. You might hear it on your local news. Especially if it had affected something like in your area. But typically don't really hear any of this stuff. Actions to combat 2 Russian state-sponsored cyber criminals. This one was funny, and then it talks about Ukraine. Like, come on, guys. Get it together. Want this guy for international bribery and money laundering, an oil trader. I wonder if that had anything to do with the seizure of the oil tanker. You know, these Democrats are so stupid, like, oh, well, you'll blow a boat out the water, but you won't blow a tank out the water. Yeah, you don't blow a tank out of, like, you dipshit. It's full of oil. You don't cause an oil spill, stupid. Yeah, let's start a freaking, you know what I mean? Like, let's just poison the whole Gulf of America. I'm sure they'd probably be happy of that, right? Haven't we already learned what happens when oil tankers go down? Bunch of dumbasses. They just got nothing left. They really got nothing left. What they got left is what we just heard about. They're just waiting for them not to do nothing so that they can charge them for not doing nothing. Biggest bullcrap ever. Oh, Justice Department sues Loudoun County for violating equal protection of Christian students. That was in Virginia. Shut down an AI tech smuggling network. Exploitation. Hey, look, Colorado. Justice Department opens investigation into conditions of Colorado prisons and youth facilities. You wonder if that has anything to do with Tina? Court martial. Texas man convicted for a scheme to bribe a Mexican government official. Another state-owned oil company. What's going on in the oil business, right? Were they all playing dirty in Biden's regime? Oh, look. New York woman charged with smuggling aliens from Canada. Up in New York. Healthcare fraud. Money laundering. See, it's just a bunch of money laundering, a bunch of healthcare frauds. That's what I was going to get into, was all the COVID the COVID fraud. Look, I even had it. Oh, I just erased it. Dang it. This is what we were going to get into until on the second episode, until I froze my whole damn computer. Oh, come on. There we go. So look, 17 million. 2 men sentenced for 17 million for COVID-19 unemployment fraud. There was so much unemployment fraud. Like I personally know of a healthcare company that just got sent like $1 million to their bank account. They never applied for anything. They sent it right back. But I can just imagine how many bank accounts of of these healthcare providers just got millions of dollars without even having to request it. And then small businesses didn't get squat diddly crap when you filled out all their crap. Bunch of bull. Can you guys hear that dog? Three sentenced for 30 million for unemployment fraud. Woman sentenced for fraud scheme involving claims for unnecessary respiratory. No, thank you. Thank you, Jamie. California was sentenced today to 9 years in prison for her role in fraudulently admitting claims to governmental and private insurance companies or programs during the COVID-19 pandemic for expensive respiratory pathogen panel tests that were medically unnecessary and never even ordered by healthcare providers. Well, then how the hell did she get paid? Better look deeper into that one. California man pleads guilty in another fraud scheme. 7 charged in nation's largest COVID-19 tax credit scheme. Another 16 million unemployment fraud. Like, you can add up all these millions, right? 16, 30, another 17, 15. I mean, this is a lot of money that they stole. And that's just this year. They've been busting them. It's just really ramped up this year. Unemployment fraud, tax fraud. California restaurant owner sentenced for COVID-19 and tax fraud. There's your COVID-19 relief program. Another one for employment tax fraud. Same thing, COVID-19 employment tax credits. Another one. Another one. Another one. Geez, that one's 100 million in COVID-19 employment tax credits. Like, how are these people even getting $100 million? 20 million. Florida businessman Patrick Walsh and affiliated companies agreed to $20 million consent judgment to settle False Claims Act liability relating to fraudulent pandemic relief loans. Patrick and the 10 companies he has owned. Man, that's crazy. 20 million. People are a bunch of freaking thieves. Another stolen. Millions stolen. 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 I mean, it just goes on and on and on, right? These aren't even in order either, but they're all 2025. Yeah, loan scams everywhere, from the government, from the state. It was both. But yep, PPE fraud scheme. Yeah, just all these people, man. It's a lot of our money. Subsidy of a Chinese state-owned entity to pay $14.2 million to resolve False Claim Act allegations relating to a paycheck protection program loan. So yeah, it just goes on and on and on and on of COVID scams that they just. Whew. My goodness, Jamie. Yeah, it's all a bunch of scams. We'd all have money if they quit giving it away. I was watching a video today of a guy that was saying he was keeping track on housing that's coming up, and there's been over over 180,000 or something like that homes that are vacated now. Just like I said, you get rid of the illegals, you fix our damn housing process, right? Like, they're the ones that are taking up all the homes. So yeah, I think as the more that they kick people out, you're gonna find that we do have housing. They just been giving it away. And they don't even pay. They just pay with our money. All right. Well, I'm so glad that they finally released Tina Peters. I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting coming up couple of days. It's going to be an interesting Friday for sure. This one's going to hit the news early in the morning. Jamie. Yeah, you know that this one's going to be blasted everywhere tomorrow from every news station. They've got their 4 a.m. talking points now. And yeah, they're screwed. You know she still has everything. So this is about to get interesting. Very, very interesting. You know what? Let's see. Got on the top. U.S. sanctions 6 more ships after seizing oil tanker. Uh-oh. They're trying to say that we're pirates now. We're pirates. Did they say that when Joe Biden seized his plane? Do you guys remember that? Please tell me you guys remember when. Yeah, it's what these damn look. Major escalation. Experts break down the U.S. mission, right? But then when you go back to Biden, when he was doing it, what's behind the seizure? U.S. seizes Venezuelan plane over alleged blah, blah, blah. What's behind the seizure? U.S. seizure, right? You guys see these freaking headlines, right? What to know after the U.S. seizes Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Right? Their stuff is funny. Long-time tensions. Tensions flare as the U.S. intercepts a Venezuela. Right? Can't stand these clowns enough. Really can't. Let's see what they say here. Watch.
Build a website you love.
Oh, you shut up.
With Wix. For your words.
The
breaking news, some exclusive live pictures that we're showing you right now of the seized plane belonging to Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro. Maduro, we should note, is not on board, but the plane was seized by officials for violating U.S. sanctions. CNN's Kylie Atwood joins me now. Kylie, this is pretty extraordinary. This does not happen, obviously, every day where U.S. authorities go in and seize the plane of a head of state. But that is essentially what's happened this morning. Can you break this down for us?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the plane of Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, is now in the hands of the United States. As you can see there, those images demonstrate that it has just landed in Florida. It was seized by U.S. authorities in the Dominican Republic. That is according to multiple U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague Priscilla Alvarez about this. And how this all came to fruition, Jim, is that this plane was in the Dominican Republic in recent months. We don't know exactly why, but that presented the opportunity for U.S. authorities to work with authorities in the Dominican Republic to actually make up a plan and seize the plane. And just to give folks context, this plane is effectively the Air Force One of Venezuela. This is a plane that cost about $13 million, the U.S. estimates. It's been used by Maduro to travel around the world, to make visits, to see other world leaders and the like. It's now in the hands of the U.S. government. It's an extraordinary move. The U.S. has for years been trying to disrupt the flow of goods and finances, money going into Venezuela. For example, they have disrupted luxury cars going into the country. But we should note that this is just such a bold move because, according to one of those U.S. officials who spoke with our colleague, this is unheard of and sends a signal that no one is out of the reach of U.S. sanctions. So they clearly had their eye on this plane for a while that was being used by the president of Venezuela, and now it is in U.S. custody. Now, the process here is that now that it is in the United States, Venezuela can petition for the plane, so we'll watch and see what happens there. But also, the United States can collect evidence from the plane. We just saw some folks heading into the plane, U.S. authorities heading in there with what appeared to be a recording device. They'll be able to collect evidence in terms of what the president of Venezuela was doing, potentially on that plane. We'll watch and see how this all unfolds. Jim?
Yeah, Kylie, we do want to emphasize to our viewers, you are looking at live exclusive pictures right now, or almost live. It happened just a little while ago, of these law enforcement officials. These are live pictures, as a matter of fact, of these law enforcement officials sort of circling this plane, going in and out of this plane. It's landed in Fort Lauderdale right now, but as Kylie was saying a few moments ago, it was seized in the Dominican Republic. And Kylie, as you were saying, this is a very aggressive move on the part of the Biden administration to go and do this while Venezuela is in the middle of a lot of political turmoil right now.
That's right. So we just had the elections in Venezuela over the summer. U.S. officials were highly concerned about the results of those elections, how those elections unfolded, calling into question the fact that Maduro came out victorious in those elections. So the fact that they have seized this plane sort of builds on the tension that has only been escalating in recent years between the United States and Venezuela. Of course, there have been some cooperation between the two countries in terms of a prisoner swap that we saw recently. But beyond that is a really tense relationship, and the Biden administration making it very clear that they are not going to hold back. They're going to go after Maduro and really try and seize anything he has in terms of incoming revenue, and all of that that enable him to travel around the world. Now no longer able to do that on this plane.
And you were just saying a few moments ago, this is that country's version of Air Force One, and so this is not a small thing. And Kylie, what are these police officers doing outside the plane right now? You can see several officers going in and out of the plane. They're
But you see their reaction there? It was kind of just, oh, this is unprecedented. This has never happened before. Right? Dang, Biden, you're growing some balls or what? And then Trump does it, and dun, dun, dun. I can't even find a CNN one. what CBS says. Picture. Thank you. I know it looked like a 17, right, Jamie? I think it was a T7, but yeah, it did look like a 17 for sure on the tail.
Dictator yet again today.
The Treasury Department put new sanctions on several family members of
The Trump administration turned up the heat on Venezuela's dictator yet again today.
The Treasury Department put new sanctions on several family members of Nicolas Maduro, as well as 6 oil tankers it says have been used to fuel Maduro's narco-terrorist regime.
U.S. forces yesterday seized a large oil tanker, and Charlie D'Agata has the update.
New details tonight about the tanker seized Wednesday when U.S. commandos boarded the ship carrying millions of dollars worth of oil. That ship, the Skipper, is now headed to a U.S. port. It was among a group of tankers CBS News saw last July near Malaysia, part of a so-called dark fleet that transfers sanctioned fuel at sea. Sources say the administration plans more seizures.
We're not going to stand by and watch sanctioned vessels sail the seas with black market oil, the proceeds of which will fuel narco-terrorism of rogue and illegitimate regimes around the world.
Nevada Democratic Senator Jackie Rosen disputes the administration's motives.
The president is trying to get us into a war. What is the purpose of this war? Seems to be, does he want the oil? Does he want to stop it? We don't know what he wants.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro called it an act of piracy, while his top critic, Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado, speaking from Norway, called Venezuela a criminal organization.
This has turned Venezuela into the criminal hub of the Americas.
Machado made it to Norway after being evacuated out of Venezuela, where she was living in hiding in a daring 16-hour secret mission. According to the Wall Street Journal, she wore a wig and a disguise and passed 10 military checkpoints. Then a harrowing 13-hour boat ride, captained by former Special Ops soldier Brian Stern, who spoke with CBS's Lilia Luciano.
It was dangerous. It was scary. The sea conditions were ideal for us. That's why it was advantageous to us. The higher the waves, the harder it is for radar to see. That's how it works.
Machado was trying to get to Norway in time to pick up her Nobel Peace Prize, but missed the ceremony yesterday, and her daughter picked it up on her behalf. But Machado is reunited with her kids for the first time in 2 years.
Well, they kind of just they kind of skipped Trump there, didn't they?
Is back at it. Let's go to the maps right now.
That was, I'm pretty sure that was a military op.
Now
They got her added air right. Let's see. Is it Morning Joe? Is that what you have to put in just to see what these numbnuts talk about? Yes, more.
Throw it as hard as you want. Go on.
U.S. and Venezuela took a strange turn yesterday when the U.S. seized a plane used by Venezuela's leader Nicolas Maduro and then flew that plane to Florida. It comes as Maduro's government is cracking down on opposition leaders after the recent disputed election there. Christian Benavides is in Fort Lauderdale for us covering this. Christian, good morning. What's going on?
Tony, good morning. Well, this aircraft is essentially Venezuela's version of Air Force One. Maduro has been using it on state visits worldwide.
So, like, what was bigger? His Air Force One jet getting stolen or a tanker being seized? And then I think in February they took his second one too, right? Maduro got nowhere to go. He is stuck. I'm pretty sure that's probably what those airplanes, those jets flying through were probably distractions to get her out, right? So There's a lot going on. They got like the whole fleet down there. And Trump said they're about to mess them up. So I kind of believe it because they don't have that many. Like they got the whole fleet down there. I don't know if they'll actually go like on land, like foot. Probably more like drone. But that's what you do, right? You just stop their oil trade, stop their drug trade. So now they're not going to be able to transfer oil. They can't transfer drugs. They're going to dry up real quick, right? Generals are going to start ratting out Maduro, trying to get that $5 million or however much they're offering up for him. Or both, right? Right, Dick Tracy? Or both. I wonder what else is going on today. I don't know why it keeps going to this. They overturned. So they voted for Ukraine to get more funding as they overturn one of Trump's executive orders. Not sure how that works, but you know, bunch of freaking rhinos. Which one did they overturn? The House of Representatives voted Wednesday to overturn President Trump's executive order ending collective bargaining rights for 2/3 of the federal workforce. Ending collective bargaining rights. It's the first time during Trump's second term that the House has secured enough votes to repeal one of his executive orders, though the measure faces an uphill battle as it heads to the Senate. Yeah, it'll be more to line their pockets when it goes to Ukraine. We know that. Federal employee unions have been at the forefront of the administration's efforts. Of course, there's the stupid unions. The administration has argued that restricting union rights is necessary to protect national security, despite many agencies being indirectly linked to those concerns. The House voted 231 to 195 against Trump's March order. So what? They want their little, they want all their minions back, huh? All their federal workers. Are they having to do too much work? Let's see what Trump does, right? Because you know he always comes back with a gotcha. This little sneak was like was smiling in court. The Senate did block the Democrats' bill to extend the expiring Obamacare subsidies. See? The U.S. helped her leave Venezuela. Indiana Senate votes down their restricting bill. Breaking with Trump. Everybody's starting to break from Trump, right? You see it start to happen. See how many of them are caught up in good night, 47 lights. Have a good night. I know I'm probably going to end the show here in a little bit too. Just kind of looking through the news, see if we can match anything that we see. But like I said, I don't think today was just a bunch of crap. POTUS post anything? Nope. But we do get Tina Peters freed. That's going to be an interesting Friday tomorrow. Like I said, that's going to be the 4 a.m. talking points. So I kind of think this one right here, risk of another shutdown. I know they were talking about the boards, but I feel at this time it could be double meeting, and they're talking about they're going to shut the damn government down. You got active and criminal investigations. Today was all kind of about border security and national security, which I guess Trump did just release that national security order or booklet that they put out. So there is that. We got the Army Corps engineers. You can always see if the Army did anything. Army gynecologist charged with secretly recording over 40 patients. Now it's 81. Whoa. Eradicate scam compounds. Eliminator or eradicate. Got the Navy Army game coming up, which is always good. And I think that's about all we got. Oh, look, a Trump protest being planned outside the Army-Navy game. Of course. And I guess if you really want to see what they're doing, then you kind of got to go to the lifelog.com. I know Scabby did post early this morning, and it's been a while since Scabby has posted, so. But you know he's busy. Ollie Power. ROTC. Yep. Example. Sometimes you gotta zoom into those. You never know. I don't see any. This one was yesterday.
Door clear! Door clear! On fire! On fire! Door clear! Door clear!
Hanging out has a different meaning when you're a soldier. Bombs we got here. Eight o'clock. I'm pretty sure it's showing my time, so it's 11. 10th. Nah, Xmas in DC. Hard to mask. Shell companies. Recent stock dump. No, I am Styles Beats. I'm Styles Beats. I'm Lance. I'm Reckoning Wire. I'm and then I have my LAQ one when we watch our movies. Like this one. And I got a bunch of channels on here now. But yeah, see. There you go, Jamie. LEQ. Oops, I actually clicked on that one. My Styles Beats one, which I haven't really posted this one. Yeah, see all my accounts. So yeah, no, you weren't messaging the wrong one. I just got a bunch of them. Oh. Then I messed it up. Ah. All right. Mess it up right at the end. Why not? Yeah, see? Exactly. Bunch of different channels. Just like my You Have It All channels too. I started doing the drops, but then I kind of stopped doing it just because everything got kind of too hectic. So, but when I did those movies, I did learn a lot. So those are always fun to make. Yeah, no, sorry, Jamie, I got a bunch of accounts. All right, everyone. I think I'm going to call it a night. I still got to get something to eat. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is anymore. Barely know what day it is. 7:20. And yeah, look, you got to love it. The U.S. Army has the 250 up there, right? They got it. And a really good picture too. I mean, look how clear that one is. That is a really clear. a really clear picture. And it's still there. 2.1, 21. I'll have more of a structured show tomorrow. It kind of threw me off. I seen the Tina Peters right before we went live, so I was just like, yes, finally we get a win, right? Like, let's see if stuff starts to pick up. You just have to think that, I don't know, there's a lot of people out there as well that are kind of doom and gloom, right? But then at the same time, the Democrats are kind of saying that as well, like, I'm coming after all of y'all. So it has been a crazy year. We actually got Boss in. He's made a bunch of changes. There's still a lot of changes to come, but there's still a lot of rats in the system. There's still a lot of rhinos. There's still a lot of people that are against Trump, and that's okay. Because then they can't help their TDS, and then they come out and they do stupid stuff like they did today, where they fund the war even more as Trump's trying to get it solved before Christmas. He is not happy. We can all probably agree on that one, that man is probably pretty hot right now. And probably on the phone, right? Like, what the hell is going on right now? So they better make sure that money goes where it needs to go, because, yeah, we caught your asses last time. We know where that money goes. It's just going to do a big boomerang circle back. Yeah, you guarantee that he's pissed. Like you said, he was trying to get this ended before Christmas, and here they are, funding the damn war. Whew. So tomorrow is going to be a very good Friday, for sure. I think we might have some videos of some boss man on yeah, I think he gonna be pissed. So he did a lot of interviews today, or a lot of stuff today too, though, right? He was pretty much in front of the camera all day. So I almost didn't think he was gonna be over before my show went live, right? He was on right before right before I was going on. So whew. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. You guys have pretty much been here with me for these last 4 shows. Like I said, I'm going to do these shows every day for an hour, like probably an hour and a half, 2 hours. Who knows? We might have shows where we're digging and stuff just keeps going, right? Last night, I think we almost had like a 3-hour show. We were pretty close, I think, or 2.5. So kind of depends on what we're digging on, but I think tonight we call it a win. We'll see what Colorado does, right? If they actually do try to free Tina or not. They did the same thing when J6, remember? When he let J6 out, they didn't want to let him out either. They had a bunch of protesters out there, which will probably be the same crap, right? Against Tina. So just prepare. You know that all their stupid little riots are coming, and yeah, we already know what they're planning. So they're just trying to hide their guilt and try to stop, right? Try to stop everything from coming against them. But Boss Man said, right? Next year, in a couple of months, we'll have more information out for election fraud. He still talks about it for a reason. And I watched like in quotes, right, an old CIA quote. And yeah, the way that basically the CIA is talking right now, right, is everything's gonna go to crap and Trump's gonna ruin everything and we're in for a rough one and he's trying to start blah, 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 right? So it's very interesting to see people flip back and forth, and that's the whole reason I kind of watch those shows, is because, you know, once they're farm, always farm. So when they talk about their little insider circles, right, you know exactly what they're talking about and being fed even that information out, right, through their podcasts. So whew, it's been a very gonna be a psyopy Christmas. Oh man, these people just don't stop. It's non-stop. Non-stop. So much that the White House had to release a fake news media page, right? Oh man. All right, everybody. I love you. Thanks for joining me today. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. EST. Have a great night.